Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do a spoiler and non-spoiler review and analysis of Shadows Upon Time, the last book in the Sun Eater series. This is going to be very free flow, and there might be a few cuts, and I have my notes here because it's a lot. I feel like there's so much packed into this book that it's hard for me to remember everything, so I'm not really going off a script or anything. But, okay. We'll start with non-spoiler thoughts, overall general consensus of the book. And I read it yesterday. I finished it yesterday. But I think it's my favorite of the series. It's either this or Demon in White, just because it has a lot of things that I'm learning that I love, which is political intrigue is a huge one. And this is littered with great political scenes. Wow, it's amazing. So that's definitely a reason why I love this book. I think the themes are very rich, and I'll get into that when we talk more, a little more spoiler. Characters are great. Hadrian's journey is huge. I think the series is an achievement that's hard to comprehend. I can't even really comprehend it. I've been watching a lot of videos of other people talking about this book, and it's so great to see other people's perspective on some of the stuff I may have missed or gone too fast over, and I'll definitely get into some of that with spoiler talk. But yeah, I had such a fun time. It was the exact same feeling as when I was reading Demon in White. It's just so fast, or I want to read it fast, but I'm also like, let me take this in because this is the last book in the series. It's meant a lot to me as a reader. I feel like it's been formative for how I view books and how I analyze books in the future. So yeah, I've had a great time. All right, that kind of ends the non-spoiler part. I'm going to go into themes, go into setting, go into characters, and there will be spoilers. So click off this video if you don't want to see the spoilers, but stick with me if you want kind of an analysis of what some of the thoughts I thought as I was going through this book. All right, so I started with setting, and the demerge, don't really know how to say it, is central to the setting, and I just thought it was so cool because in book 2, it's this scary, unknown, cosmic horror vibe that you get from this ship in this setting. And although it still is that, it's also, now it's a home, now it's a safe haven, and it's also the weapon that's integral, did I use that word right, for the whole entire story, for blowing up this thing. I mean, it's what they use to end it all. So I just thought that was a cool setting piece, and I thought it was great. Another note on setting before I get to themes is I know it's not just Shadows Upon Time that I'm talking about here, but Sun Eater has mastered distinctive cultures for me. Like it's really apparent when you step into a new planet how different it is from these other ones that Hadrian's traveling. And he does that in a number of ways, but whether that be culture, religion, the clothes these people wear, descriptions of these planets and how they look different, it's masterful. I love his writing style. It took some getting used to when I first started the series, but wow, it's great. Okay, let's move into themes. There's a lot of themes in this book, but I think the most apparent one for me was the ship of Theseus. I actually don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but anyways, if you remade yourself, if you're torn apart, are you still the same man? Are you still the same person? I mean, Hadrian, the clear example for this. He's been put back together 2 times. I mean, now 3. Now technically 3. Is he still the same person? He used to ask himself in book 1 and early on, like, am I even human? And that was like a central question to him. But it even goes beyond Hadrian, the Exalted, which they're like barely a human. I think they have a human brain, but everything else, every limb is robotic. It's, are you still the same person? Do we count that as being the same? Interesting thought experiment, and it made me think throughout the book about this topic. So I thought it was really cool. But okay, next huge one is Fate versus Free Will. I feel like these last two books, Disquiet Gods and Shadows Upon Time, have been heavily centered around, do we get the ability to make our own choices? Is it a divine creation that sets us upon a path and we're following it? And I think the beauty of reading is we can interpret it in different ways. But I thought that was another cool theme throughout the book. Do we have the ability to make those choices, those hard choices? And I think Hadrian, at the end of this book, seems to think we still do have the choice. We always have that choice. But some things may be preordained, but that doesn't change his ability to choose. I just literally thought of this too. Every time Hadrian uses his powers, it's funny, he uses the word like choose. He uses, and then I chose this path, and then I chose to step to the right. He made that choice to use that power. I just thought that was really cool. I literally thought that on the spot. But yeah, another cool theme. Power is a huge theme. Similar to like Lord of the Rings. What does power do to a man or machine? Like, these are questions asked throughout the whole entire series, but you really see it here with the Empire and Alexander. I think he's the best example of this, because obviously I don't like the guy. I hope you guys feel the same, but I think it's a result of fear and him wanting that power, and it's ultimately going to rot him and the Empire. It seems to be the case. But the Chantry are the biggest example of wanting power and ultimately planning this from the start. Just the transition of power. They knew that was the play. They knew they could not do this with Emperor William, because he's been fighting this war on two fronts for so long, the Sealson and the Chantry, which we figure out in this book. But wow, power and how it changes people, how it changes all these different factions. It's crazy. And a huge one, another huge theme, is religion and how it shapes us and how it determines who we are and what we do and who we serve. So I thought that was another good theme. Okay. On to some character notes. Hadrian is cemented as one of the best fictional characters I've ever read. I mean, he's just so complex, but he really does have a moral code, I think. And I'm still early in my reading journey, so I'm excited to read other fictional characters, but I felt like he had to make these very, very hard decisions that not a lot of humans have to make. And most of the time, I will say most of the time, I agreed with his sentiment or his decision-making ability. And I felt like he wanted what's best for people, although sometimes that doesn't come off on the page. But wow, I love Hadrian. He's tasked with a lot. He has the burden of not only potential power, but literally an ability from a divine being. So it's a lot, and I think his character's done well. I think Cellini I think that's how you say her name. I thought it was Celine, but I guess it's Selene. Um, Fleshed out very good, and I know we might still get more from the Sun Eater series in time, so maybe there'll be more stuff about Selene and whether she made it out. I don't know, but I'll get into that when I talk about plot points. But yeah, I think Hadrian's the star of the show. Obviously, it's in first person. Um, but if I had to name any other contenders for like great characters, I'd probably say Lorien, of course. The Emperor William. Ooh, he's a great character. I think something Christopher Rocchio does so well is he makes you feel like he's the Emperor. Like every conversation that they're having is like this. There's so much weight to it. Every time William talks, there's so much weight. It makes you feel like you should respect him. Like he is a higher power than most other humans, just strictly because of his position and how he talks to people. It's great. I think he was done so well. I think Orphan was a cool addition. And here, what is he called? Here Soon Unchanged, Here Soon Something Changed. I forgot his name. But those conversations were great. And I like the reveal of all that the Chantry is. Okay, on to some of the moments I thought were awesome and needed to be written down. So when they're first talking about the taking of Demerge, and this was cool because it was like 7 POVs, and you got to see someone other than Hadrian talking about the events that are occurring. And we got to see the Urktani. We got to see Captain Goshel. We got to see Cassandra. We got to see a Sealson POV, which is just so cool. I thought that was amazing, getting to see that. And it went on for like 200 pages, which I thought would be kind of a drag, but I was like, whoa, like this is really interesting. And going back to that setting piece, like it's a huge part of the setting for like this entire book. I mean, they spend 60% of the events on the Demerge. So it was clearly critical for the mission. Okay, chapter 20. It's called Demon in White, which when I saw that, I was like, all right, this is going to be sick. It's when he goes to Forum and basically lays this Chantry daemon in front of everyone and calls him out, and with the hopes that they'll be exposed. Obviously, they don't get fully exposed, but now they're coming into the light because of Hadrian. And gosh, the look on people's faces, the disgust the Chantry had for him, and all these political talks, they get me going. They're so sick. So I really enjoyed that. Going off that, later in the book, I'm kind of bouncing around. It's just whatever is in my head. But when the Chantry priest has to kiss the Emperor's ring, he makes him do it, and he obviously gets the virus because of it. Oh my god, that was one of the coolest moments ever. I mean, I think Rocchio has mastered the ability or the writing ability for these political scenes. Like, they're so dramatic, and I love it being dramatic. It's so cool. Yeah. Another cool moment, Hadrian becoming Octor and being the voice of the Emperor, and then ultimately him becoming the Emperor. But it's just so funny. Like, we've spent 6 books of Hadrian being built up, broken down, built up, and to see some of that like pay off in these political scenes where he's like, silence, like, and I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm in. It's really cool, and I feel like we deserve that as readers, and we got that. we got that. Another cool set of sequences in this book is whenever Ushara takes over these, whether they're humans or someone else, it's literally like a horror scene out of a movie. Like, if you guys know the book, or sorry, if you guys know the movie Smile, the horror movie, I won't tell you the whole plot, but basically, the one that's possessed smiles like in a real, I'm not going to do it, in a really creepy way to the main character. And that's how I felt whenever someone would get possessed. They would smile. And like, I'm reading that, I'm getting chills. I'm like, whoa, this is scary. And they're having people do horrible things to each other and to themselves. And it becomes like a horror movie, these scenes. So, I mean, I thought it was really well done. But yeah, I just thought that those were great. Okay, let's talk about the last scene, the last couple chapters. And obviously, Hadrian dies for a third time, but we know he lives after this. But talking to a couple people, I know some people loved the ending and it brings a lot of questions, but others don't like it because it's a very bleak ending. And I think that was the point, was that the story is going to continue no matter what. And there's a lot of things I'm learning that I didn't catch. This is why I love these videos about this book, is like, I listened to Tudor Rambles video with John from Talking Story, and two other awesome people that I need to go subscribe to. But they were talking about how maybe as these books were moving on, Hadrian starts lying to us more. And it's funny because, like, I know he's labeled an unreliable narrator because it's first person and we can't trust everything that he's saying. But when I'm in the story and I'm getting the history from his perspective, I just assume that everything he says is correct, which is so dumb. But like, it's good that I have these people to look at and learn from. Because he literally could be lying about, they mentioned Selene, and how in one of these present tense scenes there was 2 wine cups at Colchis. And why is there 2? I mean, Selene could be alive. And every time he mentions Selene in this last book, he's like, I don't know where she is out there in the world. She could be having trouble here, having trouble there. And they were like, oh, he's lying. You know, like, she's with him. So, I mean, it's so good. It makes you just think. It makes you think. It also makes me want to reread. Not many series can do this, what it's doing right now. And it's making me want to reread and go through and really dissect from book 1 all the way to book 7. Like, I thought it was great. All right, that's my analysis. That's kind of what I was thinking during reading. Let me know what you guys thought of this book. If you want to see more content like this, I love doing it. I love talking about books. I want to continue to talk about books and with other people. So let me know. Leave a like, subscribe. Thanks, guys.